Well, that's what it'll look like maybe Sunday. Can you hear the echo? That's what happens when there are no bodies in the room. Nothing to absorb the sound but the chairs. It's a little bit different when you're here. And one of these days, we're hoping pretty soon that, when a camera were facing out just like this one is now, it'll be full of people like you. You'll be here. And for that, we'll be really glad. Hello, Pastor Todd here. One of the things that we wanted to do was give a visual update. Maybe this is one way that you'll get an idea of what it might be like to hear a message or hear a word and you not be here. We've all seen short videos, video clips, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, or someone sent us one by text message from their phone. Man, it entices us. It makes us want to see what's going on, maybe know a little bit more, and surely that's what will happen. It will be pretty awkward come Sunday when we live stream an abbreviated service because of the decision to cancel our in-person worship gathering on Sunday. And we'll take that, as we mentioned in our email last night, as on a week-by-week basis. So I want you to know, as awkward as it is talking to this camera, I'm sure it's going to be awkward for you thinking, well, Pastor Todd really is at the building and we can't be there. And we had a joke the other last night, Patty and I did, and we thought, well, maybe since we're practicing social distancing, what if we all got our cell phones, our smartphones, and we just parked in the parking lot, and I stood in the center of the grassy lot out there, and we'd be far enough apart we could still, hold services. We just wouldn't get out of our cars. And that distance is still going to be cumbersome. It's still not going to be what we're used to. We're used to more than a wave. We're used to a hug and a handshake. We're used to the reactions when we see someone and that big grin come across their face. And so we're going to miss that. That sort of interaction isn't available when we live stream. And we've been live streaming for a little while, mainly to provide something for those who find themselves maybe with a flu. Not this particular virus wasn't our plan, but the flu, for instance, or a winter cold, or some reason they could not get out so that we could be together. And then for some who are traveling and they have to be gone over the weekend, like I was one weekend, and was able to watch our service on our YouTube channel. So I wanted to tell you that one of the things that we're going to add to the resources that we're going to make available is we'll put together a little Bible study. We're going to send out a way to, you can watch that live, but we're going to have it recorded so that you can watch it at your convenience. Brad's going to have some things planned for our youth. I've talked to Patty about trying to see if she wouldn't be camera shy and we could do a very brief maybe a children's Sunday school thing. I've talked to Kimberly, who is, helps us with our children's Sunday school department, and there's some resources that we think we might be able to make available, maybe actually send to you by email, or someone else had an idea that maybe we could do a drop and go. That is, we put them in a little sack, things in for the kiddos, and we drop them at your house. And so we're kind of trying to be creative. Hopefully, our creativity won't have to be stretched beyond, again, a short time frame, but we want to do the kinds of things that would at least facilitate what we think is important, that's spending time hearing from the scriptures, which would mean hearing from God and being encouraged by one another. And so if you don't get the email, maybe you get this video. And one of the things that we'd like to do is take advantage of some old technologies. And so when you think about it on Sunday, think about the folks that sit around you in this room and make a phone call or pull out a card or just an envelope and a piece of paper and scratch out a handwritten note. Tell that person what it means that when you're together in worship, what their presence means to you. Maybe you find them robustly singing. Maybe you enjoy their quieter meditation while the group sings maybe a special. You tell them, remind them, let them know that they're noticed and that they're valuable and they're important. There may be some positives that come out of this. We may realize that though we have lots of technologies, they can't replace being in person. And so let's try to facilitate ways where we can kind of keep those communication channels open. We can convey some things that we probably should have been conveying all along, things that we should have probably been sharing with those we love and care about. We will continue our food pantry. We're going to make it a drive-through. And we know that there's some who are concerned about that, but we're minimizing the point of contact, both for those who will be serving, handing out boxes, and those who will be coming, so that we might not give them, something that would bring harm to them. So, keep those things in mind as you select how much to be involved. Now, listen, I know some of you will think we've overdone it. We've overcooked this thing, and I've got a couple of friends on Facebook that think that this is just a big bad case of who's got the cooties. But the realities are every day someone has died, and more people are dying. And really what this is all about is what can we do to minimize that impact in our community and in our state and in our country. And these tend to be the tried and proven historical ways to reduce the impact. None of us may ever encounter this terrible thing. But if one person escapes the dangers of this virus, because we've gone a little bit overboard, that'll be one that's enough. So I know that some people may look at you and say, I can't believe your church is doing this. We don't judge anybody who meets. We don't judge anybody who don't. But we've determined that we have enough folks in our congregation who are so committed to their family here that they want to be here so very badly that sometimes it's to their own potential risk. So we're going to honor their condition and not tell them not to come even though we might come. So this would be just temporary. It's not permanent. And this is one time where we say, well, a lot of churches are doing it, so yes, we are on board with that. And then the last thing is, let's remember to pray for each other. Sometimes we take that for granted, but this is really an important time. Not only pray for each other and the loneliness that this might facilitate for those who live by themselves, but what about those who are taking care of people who are sick day in and day out, putting themselves at risk for this virus? And so for nurses and doctors and healthcare providers and folks who have to, are staying at home to care for another loved one, let's remember them in our prayers. And you can reach out to us. We're going to have the office open. We're going to maintain contact as much as we possibly can until someone says we can't. So in our email, we put out ways to contact each of our staff members. There's ways you can email us. We want to make sure you know that this isn't just a time where we're deciding, well, great, we get to have a week off or 2 weeks off. We've been busy trying to stay abreast of this and trying to come up with ways that we can continue to facilitate how it is we can be God's people in our world. And it may be that you realize that someone a neighbor or someone in our church who's alone, maybe you'll call them and tell them you'll go grab their prescription, or you'll go pick up a few items at the grocery store, or whatever errand needs to be run. You'll take the risk for them. And so, make yourself available for that. And in this way, we'll give maybe a different impression of the value of church and family to a world that seems to think that we're dispensable. So I'm glad I'm your pastor, and I'm glad we're family together. And make sure you let us know if there's something we can do to help. There's some information you need. We'll be ready. Until next time.